you know, as we head into the holiday break, we're going to have a lot of extra time with the kids. So here to share how getting them all together in the kitchen is a good idea. We've got Dr. Ashley Stevens here from Cabell County Schools. Great to see you.
Good to see you.
Yeah, so this is going to be where we're all hanging out, everyone's kitchens at their homes. So really any time at home, this would be a good idea, even if it's not Thanksgiving time, right?
Absolutely. Anytime that you can set aside an opportunity to work together, to talk, to play, to learn, this is a great place. And it's something that kind of solves an immediate need because we have to eat every day.
Right.
That was one of the jokes of adulthood, that you keep having to feed everybody. And it also satisfies a long-term goal. We want our kids, you know, someday to be able to feed themselves and to feel confident and safe in the kitchen. And then if we do it correctly, there's also this chance for, you know, some bonding and some learning and some good extra things in addition to just the meal that we'll have.
Exactly, and making a lot of fun memories.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what should families keep in mind when planning some cooking experiences with the kids?
First, your own bandwidth. We cannot be great teachers and instructors and, you know, parents pouring into our kids if we are overextended. So that might mean that instead of making, you know, muffins from scratch, we're going to use a pre-made bag because that's what we have in us to be able to deal with. And it also means looking at our kids' ages and developments to make sure that we are getting them where they are, where they can be successful as well.
Oh, I like that. Do you have any other tips?
Absolutely. So when it comes to ages, we kind of need to think about where they are as far as what tools in the kitchen. And I almost think of it kind of as a video game, like you unlock different levels. And so for our little ones, it might be that they're practicing washing hands, they're measuring with us, they're fetching. You know, we're not dealing with heat, we're not dealing with knives until we get a little bit older. The concept of sous chef, which is like the #2 chef, is a big deal in my family. So we have sous chefs for a while. As they get older, they can take, you know, with your guidance and instruction, a bigger role. And so we can start talking about knife skills when we get into upper elementary, or peelers or graters. They'll be able to start measuring and putting things in a bowl when they're older and, you know, can see over the counter. Sometimes they need a little bit of help with that, but you're still handling things with heat. So they might help stir, but you know, we're keeping them away from the elements and that kind of thing. When we get into the 10 or 12-year-old, we are in the sweet spot. We don't have to be the #1 chef. We can be the sous chef a little bit. And our kids get more...
switch the roles a little bit.
Absolutely. You have to get them there. You can't just roll a 10-year-old in and, you know, who's never seen anything in the kitchen and let them go. But once you've gone through all the baby steps, they are then ready to have a bigger role. And they can certainly help everybody with cleanup and dishes and those types of things too.
Oh yeah, that's an important skill too. Clean as you go. That's what my mom always taught me. Are there any other things that you can think of that would be important to include in this family experience?
Absolutely. When we're picking recipes, that's where this experience is made or broken. So it's not really once you get your kids in there, that's chaos and we're all just managing it. But choosing recipes that that fit their ability and that fit, you know, their interest or something they would eat. You don't want to have them spending time making something that, you know, they'll never touch. They don't get the satisfaction of a completion. Also, there's this like magic of TV thing. If you think about, you know, you're in a kitchen and you have a bowl of diced onions that you're dumping, or you have pre-measured paprika, things like that. When we can do those things ahead of time, when our kids are off doing something else and they come into an experience that's ready to be done, they have a better chance of success. So as much as you can, especially when they're little, prep. So they just walk in and they're dumping and you know.
That makes it fun.
It does. It does. And it keeps them from getting mired up in the, oh my gosh, this is taking forever.
Right.
And some of those skills may not be appropriate if we're cutting up vegetables. So be careful with that. Also, this is your chance to make it nerdy. So if you want to talk about, you know, the fractions that you're using with your measuring cups, or the heat, or the difference, this recipe's, you know, not in Fahrenheit. What do we need to do about that? How do we navigate that? Or maybe it's not even, you know, the measurements aren't the same. So you can make some conversions. And that is really, really helpful and useful. And also it gives you a chance to share.
Well, these are great ideas, Dr. Stevens. Thanks so much for sharing them with us and getting everybody in the kitchen.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.